ดีค่ะ Welcome to Creating Magic with Rotary, a monthly live talk that dives into the inspiring world of Rotary service projects. We are simultaneously streaming on Supai Live, Mojo Club, and Rotary channels in 7 Southeast Asia countries or cities. My name is Supan Wiboonma, your moderator. Supporting me on the production is Coach Ben from Supai Live Mojo Club. Over the past 10 episodes, we explored peace building, youth empowerment, education, polio eradication, and so much more. Today, we are exploring a topic relevant to every service leaders worldwide: how to effectively collaborate across cultural, economic, and geographic boundaries to create lasting change. While our case study focuses on Rotary District 3310, which spans Singapore, Brunei, and parts of Malaysia. The lessons we'll uncover apply to any service project, whether it crosses international borders or simply bridges different neighborhoods in your community. I'm truly honored to welcome two distinguished leaders who will share universal principles for effective cross-cultural service in this episode titled Creating Lasting Change and Transforming Lives through Rotary. Their insights on connecting communities and transforming lives through collaborative approaches will help us enhance your own service projects no matter where you serve. So let's begin with our guest introduction. First, I'd like to welcome Dr. Shahul Hameed, a member of Rotary Club of Singapore and a dentist by profession. He will soon assume the position of the Governor of District 3310 Rotary International. Dr. Shahul has been instrumental in district's grants, stewardship, scholarship, international service, and Rotary. Dr. Shahul Hameed, welcome to Creating Magic with Rotary.
Hi, hello, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Joining us also is District Rotary Foundation Chair, Mr. Yaw-Hua, a member of Rotary Club of Kuching Central in Malaysia. His leadership has helped the district achieve remarkable success in fundraising. He has also played an important role in ensuring that foundation grants create lasting change across the district's diverse communities. Mr. Yaw-Hua, thank you for being with us today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Before we start our conversation, I'd like to request you two to please introduce yourself a little bit more, starting first with Dr. Shahul.
Right, very good afternoon. Greetings all the way from Singapore. I'm so pleased to be invited to speak on this live stream event today. So I would like to thank our host, Supan, as well as the channel owners for kindly allowing us to be on this show today and to share our experience so that we can all learn from each other. My name is Dr. Shahul Hameed. I'm a dentist by profession. I graduated from the National University of Singapore almost 38 years ago. So I'm in practice. I'm a general dentist in a group practice. I have also other interests. I'm very interested in volunteering for the community. So my current activity includes teaching part-time at the National University of Singapore. We only have one dental school in the whole of Singapore. So I'm privileged to be on the teaching panel for the past 25 years. Other than that, I'm also very passionate about young people. I sit on a panel of advisors for the Family Justice Courts, where we look into cases of child protection services. And I also sit on a panel for the Family Justice Court for the vulnerable adults, well, the elderly people in Singapore who might get neglected and might be unfortunately abused by family members and others, which requires the state to step in and do the necessary help that is required. So that is my real honor to be on a panel of advisors for the Family Justice Court. And of course, I've been a Rotarian for 30 years. A lot of my time currently is being taken up with work in Rotary, which I thoroughly enjoy. I think Rotary has taught me so much in my life here, and I would really like to share whatever I can with all the listeners and viewers today. So thank you once again for having me here.
Thank you. It's our privilege too. Now turn to you, Mr. Yaw-Hua. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yes, thank you, Supan. I will keep it very short. I echo Dr. Shahul's sentiments on being invited to this channel to explore possible ways of doing things in especially service projects in our communities. I myself is fully retired for the last 10 years, so I'm not as busy as Dr. Shahu. I don't do a lot of things, but besides being a Rotarian for the past 22 years, I am a treasurer for the past 15 years in Sarawak Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and that is a passion that my wife and I share, and we are very involved in animal cruelty rescue. So I myself graduated from New Zealand 40 over years ago, and subsequently 20 years later did a postgraduate in the field that my profession is banking and finance, and I had a finance qualification. So besides that, I've been in several industries in banking, in corporate finance, as a CEO of a Hong Kong-based company doing business in China for over 10 years. And the last industry I was in is actually hotel development, finance, hotel management and development, as well as building a shopping mall in my hometown, which is Kuching in East Malaysia on the island of Borneo. Thank you very much.
Very impressive. It's a privilege to have you too. Now let's start our conversation with this first question to you, Dr. Shahul. Your district spans three countries with diverse cultures and economies, and I understood the service projects reached out to even many more countries. What principles of cross cultural collaboration have you discovered that could benefit Rotarians or any service organization anywhere? And what common threads that unite people in service projects despite these differences?
All right, thank you very much for that question. I think the key quality that we look for when we explore doing projects across countries, across boundaries, is trust. I think trust is very important if we are going into doing projects which happen to be far away from where we are. The second important factor that we consider whenever we are looking for partners to work with is to ensure that they are willing to serve and they want to do good in the world. So with trust and with this willingness to do good in the world, everything else can be learned as we go along. Why is trust very important? I think we really have to differentiate between doing one-off projects like charitable projects where you just spontaneously give money or give items to help the community for a short term versus philanthropic kind of projects where we want to consider how we can help the community over a longer period of time, how we can look into some of the problems that they are facing and try to solve them. It's impossible for us to solve all the problems in the world, like poverty, for example, and economic development. We cannot do everything, but there are things that we can do, and we need partners on the ground, regardless of their language, regardless of what beliefs they have, regardless of cultural and religious inclinations, to have this basic thread of willingness to serve. Now, willingness to serve, if there is a lack of trust, will create a lot of problems as well. So, in a world where we are all so spread out, but yet so well connected through the internet and through emails and through WhatsApp, it gives us this opportunity for different groups of people to come together. So, in our district, where we have countries in Singapore, Malaysia, and Brunei, it allows different communities like the urban communities in Singapore to be able to do projects in the more rural communities in parts of Malaysia. And the financing that we get from clubs in Brunei, for example, can power projects in some of the rural areas in parts of Malaysia, even parts in Singapore. So in summary, I think we need to have a lot of trust. And the second thing, we need to have people who are serving, who are willing to learn to do good. So I think this willingness to do good will be able to translate into trust between partners. And once that happens, we can both learn together and do really good things for the world.
Wow. Now that we understand the unique context of District 3310 and the key success factors like trust, willingness to serve, hearing or serving the needs of the communities as well as good partnership. Now let's explore how leadership vision translates into action. Dr. Shahul, as incoming district governor, what is your vision for your district in the coming year and how does it build on the work of your predecessors?
Well, my vision is always to strengthen the clubs further, to bring our clubs at a higher level than what they have been for the past few years. We want our strong clubs to be stronger. That is essentially what we hope to do. But how do we get from being a good club or a strong club to a stronger club? I think number one, we have to look into mindsets. Philanthropy and service work is actually a science by itself. A lot of people mistake or mistook doing service as just simply giving items or money. I think that is not what philanthropy and service is all about. We are talking about creating change which is positive, which is long term. Yes, we need sometimes to do charity work because charity work is humanitarian work. I am not saying that charity work is not humanitarian, but for communities to actually advance further, we need the people like who are able to provide, for example, to try and understand the root causes of some of the issues. So the focus for my incoming year is to make sure that we are able to enhance the knowledge of grant makers, of project doers, of people in service. They must really understand how to do a good service project. They must understand how to arrive at the services that is needed. It must come from the community itself, and it's not something that you want to give. I'll give you an example. If you receive 100 computers from a big computer company, don't go around the community or the schools in the area asking who wants the 100 computers. Because I can tell you for sure, the schools will say, yes, thank you for the computers. Once they receive the 100 computers, they might just sell it and fix the roof because that's what they need. Because you never ask them what they need, what they needed. So I think we have to change this mindset among grant makers and people doing service to stop providing the service that you think is useful for the community, but to actually ask the community people, ask the people that you are serving, what can we do for them? Just like when you go and see a doctor, you don't want the doctor to look at you and straight away give you the medicine without asking what the issues are. So I think for me, in my district, I think we are concentrating on this, what I call enhancing knowledge, because philanthropy, to be a professional provider of services, we really have to look at the whole ecosystem to make sure that we understand what are the needs, we provide what is needed, we measure what is the result of what is given, and we look at the long-term change. So I think this ecosystem is something that a lot of us do not really grasp the principles of it. It took me years as well. The first 10, 15 years of my Rotary life or my service life, I was more into just providing one-off charitable kind of giving. But now I think for the past 15 years, we are slowly changing and we are looking at long-term change. And I tell you, the satisfaction that you get for the impact that you create in communities over a long term, that is something that we all should aspire as grant makers, as service providers.
Wow, great. You mentioned change mindset and you also mentioned ecosystem. There's a saying change is constant. How do you plan to bring new voices and fresh perspective into Rotary while honoring our traditions and core values? Well, what did you do to help the clubs in your district embrace change and adapt to today's rapidly evolving world? Besides, listening to the real needs and things you already mentioned.
Right. So what we do is that to be able to communicate the thoughts that I spoke about earlier, we've really summarized it into the three tools that we need. Right? We need to understand, or to be what I call have awareness. With awareness, you must also get knowledge on how to do things and how to uh, proceed with the projects that you want to do. And the third thing is what we call action. So awareness, knowledge, and action is the basic tools that you need as a group of service providers or grant makers to ensure that you can solve or understand the problem. As it's not talking about solving it, but understanding the problem. And you need to be guided by what I call the three pillars: the innovation, continuity, and partnership. So, innovation itself, together with your awareness of the problem and learning about what you can do with it and be able to take action with new ideas and new processes and new people, that will actually help you develop and be able to hear fresh voices, be able to look at fresh perspective. I think not only in what we do in Rotary, but in general, if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we may not be able to solve the same problem. What we might get is just frustration sometimes. So it is good that providers of service like us should be there for the long term. And if you are looking to serving the community for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you really need fresh perspective all the time. So in our district, we welcome people outside our club, people who have expertise, younger people, older people, people who are affected, people who might be affected, and people who are related to the people who might be affected. So I think these are the perspectives that we really need to hear, and you will not complete your assessment of the problem at hand if you do not have fresh perspective and getting new and different people to also contribute to what you're doing. So it's not a closed off topic. I think we should welcome everybody, and this will provide the continuity that we need.
Sure, sure. By the way, how big is District 3310?
We have 74 clubs, but we are spread out in Singapore, Malaysia, parts of Malaysia, which is in Peninsular Malaysia, in Johor and Malacca. And we are also have clubs in Sabah and Sarawak, which is East Malaysia. And of course, in Brunei as well. So 74 clubs, about 2,200 members,
2,200.
and quite evenly distributed, about one third of clubs in Singapore, one third in the Peninsular Malaysia, and one third in Borneo, East Malaysia plus Brunei.
All right. Wow. Over to you, Mr. Yaw-Hua. The Rotary Foundation plays a crucial role in making these ambitious projects possible. Could you share with us how has the foundation support been uniquely leveraged within your district's diverse contexts? Differences in language, culture, and economic backgrounds, and Dr. Shahul already mentioned humanitarian needs that vary.
Yes, thank you, Supan. What we do in our little part of the world is we have a different economic backgrounds for our Rotarians in the different regions. The Rotarians, by and large, on average, are better off in Singapore and Brunei than on average in East Malaysia.
Mhm.
East Malaysia, even though it only occupies one third of the clubs, as Dr. Shahul mentioned, comprises maybe 90% of the territorial area. It is a large portion in terms of land mass within the district. But subsequently, it is also uh, we have a lot of rural places where outreach there's less outreach by the for government services, and therefore these residents in the rural areas needs a lot of assistance. So for in Rotary, we have this unique foundation where uh, donors from all over the world, especially from within our districts, can donate to the foundation, and then it is within our district grants policy to try and generate generate what should I call it? Generate the funding to where it's supposed to be needed. So from Dr. Shahul and I have devised a program where we have what we call foundation funding that was contributed 3 years ago that comes back to the district. So in order for clubs to apply for those funding, we require that they put up a mandatory contribution, current contribution to the foundation, so that there's continuity. In 3 years' time, these funds will come back to be used by other clubs. So to get the clubs to fund to contribute to the areas that they require will mean that they have to go and apply for this district, what we call district designated fund, and make the contribution so that then they can apply this district designated fund to the global grants program that is being affected in the poorer parts of our district. So I think this is unique in the sense that donors by and large, as Dr. Shahul says, must have trust before they put up the money to the foundation. For us, when the proponents of projects and the donors actually meet up during intermingle during district events, they will get to know each other, and they will then be able to be briefed on projects that they think that the proponents wants to do, and hopefully the donors will find it interesting and then support it. So from that technical point of view, I think it is it works very well for our district. I don't know whether other districts can emulate it. I hope they can, so that we have a system where money goes hopefully to where it's supposed to be most useful.
Aha. You did mention innovative funding approach to develop projects. Can you also share with us what foundation supported project in the recent years that created most transformative impact in your district, Mr. Yaw-Hua?
Yes, our district. My experience has been mostly in the backward rural areas of East Malaysia, where we have very few, very sparse population, and it is very difficult to provide even basic necessities like pipe water, running electricity, and medical services to basic necessities to these rural residences. So from our point of view, we get involved in WASH projects, in medical outreach, especially rectification of cataract problems,
Ah,
and like what you have been mentioning, you have undergone one recently, and then we are now going into the third phase of the program of our outreach, which is on basic literacy, and we concentrate on building computer classes for the rural schools, so that when they grow up and go to secondary schools in town, they are not computer illiterate and fall backwards in the studies. So for the WASH program, we are doing very basic systems for water filtration and water supply. The water supply in our rural areas are not an issue because we have plenty of rainfall within, and we don't suffer from long periods of drought. But the major problem is getting the water filtered so that it is at least drinkable, or it is at least drinkable or can be used for cooking. So we have narrowed it down to a very simple gravity fed device to provide water filtration, and this has worked very well. And we've rolled it out in most of the rural secondary schools in the states, and the latest project was 58 secondary schools that we provide these water filtration devices for, and in another 1.5 years or so, we should be able to complete all the secondary schools in rural Sarawak that does not have pipe water. So we are very happy with that sort of progress. And for cataract operations, we have been partnering the ophthalmology department of the health ministry for the last 13 years. In Malaysia, we were the first one that started a mobile eye clinic, which is very fashionable because we have planes flying around which are mobile operating rooms. For us, we started with a mobile eye clinic. Then we do outreach to the rural areas because it is very hard for those folks suffering from cataract to actually make the effort to come into town. In Sarawak, we only have 4 hospitals that can provide cataract operations. So it is very hard for them to reach to come to the cities. They have to have a caregiver, and they have to take time off to come into the hospital to do the operation. And even worse, I think most of them might not know that they are suffering from cataract because they will think that it is part and parcel of growing old. And so we've been in this program for 13 years, and we are seeing the results now. Where previously, when we go out, we do 20 outings a year. We do 20 outings a year. Each outing we get about 130 to 150, 130 to 150 patients that have their cataract operated on. Nowadays, we only do 10 outings a year, and the number
Oh,
of patients comes in at about 40 to 50 per outing, which is a tremendous reduction. So I think we have made a significant inroads into the backlog of cataract patients in our part of the world. Thank you.
wow, very impressive. What a blessing. How then do you, as chair of the District Rotary Foundation, help 74 clubs in your district navigate the different economic situations across Singapore, Brunei, and part of Malaysia when you plan or they plan projects? What did you do to help them?
It's for our as yeah, you hit the point. You hit the nail on the head. For us, our clubs vary from those super rich clubs that fund all the projects without much issue to those that want to do projects but find it difficult to get financing.
Mm,
From we are actually quite blessed in East Malaysia, particularly. In Singapore, we treat our Singapore brothers, our Rotarian brothers, as funders and our god of wealth. Uh, so hopefully they will continue to be so, because the economy is doing so well in Singapore, and they have the basic necessities, and even it's now considered a very developed country. So there are very few basic necessities that require NGOs to intervene in. For our part of the world, uh, we also blessed in a way because we have other foundations that comes in to want to do projects in our area, but their modus operandi is quite different from what Rotary does. In Rotary, we have members carrying out the service projects. For the other foundations, they come in with money to spend, but without the manpower to do so, because they parachute them in. Say for Sarawak, say for example, our major funders, the last 7 years has been Church of the Latter Day Saints.
oh,
They, I believe they allocate a certain amount of money to Malaysia, and the powers that be decided that in Malaysia, Sarawak and Sabah, number one, requires most help, and
Mhm.
more importantly, we have there are more religious uh, obstacles in doing the philanthropy work. In Semenanjung, Malaysia, I think they will have more difficulties, even if they want to provide funding for project proponents to take up the funding and then have to prominently display the sponsors name. In Sabah and Sarawak, we are more of a our national religion is still mostly Islam, but the majority of our population are Christians by nature. So there's not so much opposition to displaying this sponsor's name, because when they do their work, they want recognition, and we have, by in fairness, we have to provide it. So with us, we have done a lot of work with a lot. We get a lot of funding from these NGOs, and then we also introduce them to other Rotary clubs within the state and even in Sabah itself, where they have similar conditions. The majority of the population are Christians. And they've gone on to do they've gone to form partnership with the other Rotary clubs, and this has worked very well with short-handed NGOs, as I call them.
Aha. Aha. Wow. Now, Dr. Shahul, is there anything you want to add or clarify on giving, increasing foundation giving or strategies to ensure project sustainability, whether working across borders or within a singular community?
Well, actually, raising money for project is actually my pet topic. All right, I'll tell you why. I think all of us will reach a stage in our life where we want to give back. We feel that we are fortunate enough to enjoy all the benefits in this world, and it's time to help those who are less fortunate. I think Rotary gives you a platform to do that. Now, when we ask people to consider providing help, either financially or through their time, we stay away from asking them to give money for a project. I think if you are financially invested, you always look for returns. All right. So what do I get from giving $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000? But what we try to do is we try to explain and get our potential donors to be part of our story, to be part of our service, so that they become emotionally invested. I think when you become emotionally invested in the service that we are trying to provide, that's when people will contribute and they will not look for returns. So I'll give you an example. For example, a few years ago, I was in India, and India has very high rate of infants and young children dying because of lack of access to pediatric heart surgery, because they have hole in the heart, they have some problems in the heart, and they need the surgery. So because of the large numbers of these cases in India, a lot of children unfortunately pass away because they are not able to have access to this treatment. So when I was visiting this particular community, there was a big queue of mothers and their young children, 5, 6, 7 years old. And there's a big sign that says they're all awaiting for their surgery. So one young mother, she could not have been more than 32, 33 years old. She came up to me, started pulling my jacket with her, 6-year-old son, and started speaking in their language, which I couldn't understand, of course. So I asked one of my local host partners to just, try to interpret how can we help this particular lady. So what she was trying to tell me is that you are from Singapore, please take my son, bring him back to Singapore because he will die. See, so when we sort of try and explain these kind of stories, I think people will contribute. People will see that they are in the story now, that we as human beings, for $1,000, can save a life of a child. So we have to go around the world. We have to talk to our friends. We have to make sure that they are emotionally involved as well. So that is not a strategy. It's not that we are trying to manipulate the situation, but we want to inspire people who did not have a chance to visit that particular community in India to be part of the story, so that they are able to contribute either in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of expertise.
Wow, very inspiring. Back to you, Mr. Yaw-Hua. You named some projects you've successfully done or supported many clubs doing it. Can you share an example of a project that demonstrates true sustainability and continued impact years after implementation?
All right. Okay. The very first global grant project that we did for our club was when the current grant program was rolled out in about 12, 13 years ago. We embarked on it. It was a water supply and filtration project for 5 longhouses in in rural Sarawak, about 3 hours drive out of Kuching. So we implemented the project, tested it. We had our Korean sister club as our main partner for this project, and they visited the sites a few times to help us with project execution. So by the time it's done and dusted, we are able to provide clean potable water to 250 households over five longhouses. And subsequent to that, we monitor the water quality of this project. So for the first 2 years, we do it every 6 months, and subsequently once a year for the next 3 years before we tapered out like once every 2 years regularly. So the lifespan of the device was 25 years,
Mm.
and more importantly, the maintenance was very simple, but somebody still has to do it. So the training team managed to get a group of beneficiaries at each longhouses to be responsible for maintaining the filters. And
Mhm.
to this day, we were surprised. We are not surprised. We are very happy to see that the water quality still remains as what it should be, which is actually drinking water, and the filters work as it should. And
Mhm.
the guarantee for the filter system are 25 years. So we're halfway through that project, through that lifespan, and it's still working very well. Thank you.
Thank
Can I
you.
just add here, Supan, if you just allow me for
Sure,
one
sure.
minute? I think sustainability is something that we really have to understand if we are doing to do service projects. Like I said, sustainability is a very important factor when it comes to doing philanthropic work. There's only two types of project that can create long-term change. Projects that give you permanent change. If you do your cataract surgery, if you do your heart surgery, if you give a person a part of your body, for example, an organ, for
Mhm.
example, that's permanent change. He cannot sell it, he cannot change it. Even after the project is over, the effects remain. Other than that, the other kind of sustainability projects we are looking at is projects that give you long-term change. Things that you provide training, for example. If you make somebody go through a hairdressing course or go through a computer program course, he will not be able to sell it. All right, it remains as it is. So I think that's really important when it comes to sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, by the way, how do we measure success, particularly from beneficiaries' perspective? Mr. Yahua and maybe Dr. Shahul to add, please.
I will defer to my long-term teacher and what we call guru in our part of the world. We let Dr. Shahul proceed with the summaries.
Now,
Yes, please do so.
I think number one, again, when we are collecting funds from donors, for example, right? If you stand up and get money from 25 people, you have to be responsible to explain where the funds goes to. So because of that, I think it's really important that grant makers and people providing service really need to understand what is success. Success is something that you must know what it is before you even start the project. So if you do a women or girls empowerment project, you must know what is your success. Basically, what is your end game, what you want to achieve. If you say you want to make sure that 50 girls go to school after whatever you are doing, then that is like your benchmark, your objective that you want to do. So as you go through the project process and as you complete it, you must measure that against what your original success is all about. So that is measuring success. Of course, different types of projects will have different kinds of measurement. And as part of good project practice, you must really understand what these measurements are before you start the project, before you spend the money. So if
Even
you want,
before.
yes, that's really, really important. So success must be something that you must define beforehand, and must be something that you can feel, and must be something that can be measured. And it's not only restricted to the number of computers you give away. That is not a measure of success. The measure of success is how many people or how many students are able to use that computer for something good. So that is a measure for success. If you only measure how many students actually use the computer every day, that is not success. That is part of the process that you're going through. So success is what you measure at the end of that outcome. I know it's a bit complicated, but it is a standard framework. It is not something that is only restricted to Rotary. It's not a secret, it's a framework that is available that every one of us who are taking and using money from our friends and our donors must be able to understand, must be able to apply. Thank you.
Very convincing. Thank you. Our last question as a leave piece or recap, Mr. Yaw-Hua and Dr. Shahul, could you two please share a success story that illustrates those principles or strategies our viewers could apply regardless of location of their service projects? Starting first with Mr. Yaw-Hua.
The success stories are to varying degree. Uh, how shall I put it? There are different levels of success. But for me, when the beneficiary gets what is uh, what is targeted to be theirs and shows the appreciation, of course, that to me is a success. But from what Dr. Shahul mentioned just now, we want to create permanent change. We want to create not temporary or short term change, but permanent change. And for that, I believe you have to go in and make sure that make sure that the, the changes that you effected when you first start the changes that you want to make when you first start the project is achieved, and that is the hallmark of a good project. We have several examples. I will not go into them, but but the important thing is there must be a change in behavior, that you want to make a change in the behavior, current behavior to something that you wish and hope that and wish that they can achieve. If you're able to do that permanently, then the project is considered very successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the saying begin with the end in mind? Dr. Shahul, do you like to add or explain something else?
Yes, I think as fellow human beings, I think we must really change the way we think about service projects and giving to for good causes. Instead of giving and asking for money, I think we should ask people to invest in humanity. Why invest in humanity? I mean, we're all human beings. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Africa or whether you are in Thailand or whether you're in Singapore. It doesn't matter. I think we should help our fellow human beings. And if you can do in such a way that it can impact their life and make tremendous change, that will be totally useful. I'll give you a very short example. I know we are a bit running out of time. We do a school project where we give school-going items to students in a rural part of Indonesia. In that part of Indonesia, the girls will stay at home and fetch water and look after the younger siblings, while the boys will be working at the car parks and busy road intersections as road marshals and car park attendants just to make money. So our project over the past 12 to 14 years have put a lot of students in school. And it's an annual project that we do every year for the past 14 years. The most recent project we did last year, in about 6 months ago, a couple of girls came up to me, and they're not young girls, they must be in their early 20s, came up and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Sir, you don't remember me, but I was one of them 12 years ago, and I'm in university now." So, they said, without the help that they get, there's no way they could be where they are. So there you go. The impact that you have, tremendous. You may think that you're just giving $100 to a child, but it changes their life.
Amazing, amazing. What an incredible session. A heartfelt thank you to our guests for sharing your knowledge, experiences, passion, and visions for the future. Dr. Shahul Hameed, incoming District Governor of District 3310, Rotary International. Mr. Yaw-Hua, District Rotary Foundation Chair. Before we wrap up, could you please each leave with us one key takeaway or a final thought? Mr. Yaw-Hua?
Yes, for me, I believe based on even my first experience as a service project proponent, the donor must actually go to the project site and actually look at and see the conditions that is prevailing and what effect subsequently when the project rolls on, what effect it has on the beneficiary. So if he can go pre and post projects, I think the ability to donate more and be more emotionally attached to philanthropy will be there for that person. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Shahul?
So for me, I tell everybody, invest in humanity. When you give away part of your treasure, you're not really giving away, you are giving back for all the good things that you had in life. Thank you.
Thank you. Very touching, very inspiring indeed. Dear viewers, what we've heard today demonstrates that borders, whether geographic, cultural, or economic, need not be barriers to creating meaningful change. When Rotarians or volunteers come together with clear vision, strategic funding, and genuine partnership, communities are transformed in ways that endure long after a project's completion. So thank you, our amazing guests again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Coach Ben, for a wonderful live talk production support. Dear viewers, for joining us. Thank you for viewing us live or tape. Visit us at Facebook page Creating Magic with Rotary to connect with us for our next episode on Sunday, June the 8th. And if you are interested in being involved in Rotary service projects or want to know more about us, simply Google search or visit any Rotary club near you, or just visit Rotary website, World Wide Web, rotary.org. World has changed. Watch us at any time, from anywhere and on any device. See you next time. Goodbye. Take care. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Watch and share Creating Magic with Rotary on Supan Live.